Ever had an idea suddenly hit your mind, and for a moment it feels exciting? You talk about it with your friends, you plan everything, how it will work, how successful it could be, what the future might look like. At that moment it feels productive, but the next day, the excitement is gone. You don't remember the details, and nothing actually changes. This isn't laziness. This is something your brain does naturally. It's called the execution versus fantasy gap. And this is why your brain loves planning more than doing. 1. Planning gives instant dopamine. Planning feels good because your brain releases dopamine immediately. When you imagine a future success, your brain reacts as if something positive already happened. No effort, no risk, no discomfort. Execution doesn't give that reward up front. It asks for energy before giving anything back. So your brain prefers planning because it's the fastest way to feel progress. And now, the second point is that the brain confuses imagination with progress. When you plan in detail, your brain activates the same areas it uses during action. That's why thinking feels like doing. But nothing has actually moved. No skill improved, no result changed. Your brain marks the idea as handled, even though it exists only in imagination. This false sense of progress keeps people stuck for years. The third point is social validation replaces execution. When you talk about your plans with friends, you receive approval, encouragement, attention. That emotional reward replaces the need to act. Your brain feels satisfied before any real work begins. That's why many ideas feel powerful at night, after discussions, and disappear the next morning, before going to the next points. If you enjoy clear psychology-based explanations like this, consider liking and subscribing for more content like this. Now, the fourth reason, execution triggers uncertainty and effort. Planning stays in a safe mental space. Execution forces reality. Reality includes mistakes, slow progress, confusion, and failure. Your brain is designed to avoid uncertainty, so it delays execution by keeping you thinking, not because you're lazy, but because discomfort feels like danger to the brain. 5. Planning protects your identity. As long as something stays a plan, you remain the person who could do it. The moment you start, results begin to define you. Planning protects self-image. Execution exposes reality. Your brain prefers potential over proof, because potential feels perfect. Now, the sixth and last point. The fantasy collapses when reality begins. In planning, everything is clean. In execution, everything is messy. Reality removes the ideal version your brain was enjoying, so your mind keeps returning to planning, not to move forward, but to preserve the fantasy. That's why many people stay mentally busy, but physically stuck. Here's the important shift. Planning is not the enemy. Fantasy is. The moment planning starts giving emotional comfort, it stops being useful. Execution begins when you accept that action will feel worse before it feels better. Progress doesn't start with motivation. It starts when thinking stops replacing doing. If this explains something you've experienced, you are not alone.